Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, technical trader at TechTrader.com. It's Tuesday night, February the 25th. Well, it wasn't a pretty day on Wall Street, and the indices did end to the downside, but a lot of stocks, especially the biotech stocks, just did great today. And I want to show you my top 20 stocks. I went through a bunch of biotech stocks. These are pretty much most of the biotech stocks that I'm liking right now. Take a look at ADHD. Now, a couple of you guys have talked to me about it over the course of the last few weeks. And we looked at it back in September, October when it ran up, but it pulled back, got quiet, ran up, packed and filled, a little bit of a consolidation period. Look at the volume today. Now, 480,000 doesn't sound like a lot, but it's the biggest volume on an update since like, I don't know, last year sometime. Anyway, looking at it closely, you'll see it popped, got up to resistance and closed up $1.91 or 8.5%. That was pretty good volume for that stock. I am looking for a retest now of the 2070 area. And we get through that, we can see a stock in the 30, 32 zone, but more importantly, real strong unbalanced volume and technical starting to really improve. Looks like that could go. ANAC stock's been on my top 25 list for a while. Having gone from the low single digits a year ago, $3 to 20 plus on this run up to 22.73 back in over the end of January, but you can see the pullback down, tested the trend line, lateral price support near the moving averages, and ran back up. Now, I need this to get going above the 20 and a quarter zone, and then we can retest 23 and 26. ANIP's been spectacular. For 7 days in a row, the stock went from bottom of the channel to top of the channel. Not necessarily recommending it here, only because of the trend, but you can see that if it does pull back, could be an entry up, similar to what we had here or here or here. In any case, still a strong looking stock. Long-term look on it, you can see we're up against multi-year resistance on the weekly chart near the moving averages. So to be watched, because if we get through that, it could be huge. This stock appears to have very strong momentum and volume. ARIA, well, it popped at 9.13, but backed off disappointingly and closed only up 4 cents on the day. It's still in a consolidation zone here. If it breaks out above it, that should fly into the 10-11 zone. But if it breaks down, you got to be careful in this one because about 8.45 or so is near-term support with the 21-day moving average around 8.11. So those are the two levels to watch going forward. Arrowhead Research has been wonderful. It did pull back the last 2 days. Just wanted to show you that how stocks act when they're in a beautiful channel like this and they get near the top of the channel, they do usually back off. In any case, I don't think we're done long term. I think the stock can be in the 30s at some point. KERX, one of those vaccination stocks doing well, exploded in July of last year, consolidated for several months, broke out into that falling wedge, and a perfect 1, 2, 3 wave corrective falling wedge at that. When the stock rallied back up and broke through here, you can see it's been up for like 5 of the last 6 days, and looks to me like it's breaking out or has broken out above the 12.35 top area in January. At this point, I'm looking for 16. CRME, yet another, looking pretty terrific. You can see the current pattern shows that it accelerated and pulled back in a nice flag to retest the breakout point. Beautiful multiple wave run up over the course of the last 6 months or so, and it still looks higher. Eventually, I would not be shocked to see this stock make it up to at least 13 or higher. CYTR, well, the stock that I liked a lot earlier in the year, and then you can see the breakdown of support in here, drifting lower below the moving averages. I redrew the trend line to reflect that as a possibility, and it held it right there, and today snapped back 53 cents or almost 9.5%. Volume picked up a little bit, but I need to see a follow through. Keep an eye on this one, especially if it gets out above the, let's call it 6.5, 660 range. If that is the case, then I'll look for a test of 7 and then 8. GALT doing great, and you can see that the 2-week flag that I drawn in here was broken with a pop to the upside of 265 or 17%. Now, almost 1.9 million traded. That's the second biggest volume since mid-January. So we may be getting an important breakout here on Glecton. Long-term chart pattern shows the top of the channel comes in around 22. That's my next target. Ariad Pharmaceuticals pulled back 14 cents or 1% today, but what a pattern on this stock in the last several months. And you can see all the way up from the $2 range to the $12 range, more than a six-fold increase. Recent action here shows it had been up for about 6 out of the last 7 days until today when it backed up just a fraction. Still, the upside part of this channel tells me it's potentially a $17 stock. IDRA broke out a couple of days ago and has stalled in here, a little flag, but the key is that it broke out above this double top and it's pausing right in its zone. As volume dwindles and pulls back, the technicals still hold up. Could be a very interesting pattern. I'm looking for a 7.5 on it. INO put out a swing trade on a couple days ago. It exploded through this line and then that line and pulled back today to kind of do a little bit of a pause or hesitation. I think it's going to consolidate for a couple, 3-4 days, maybe. But if it does take out yesterday's high up near the 395 area, we could see 4 3/4 and then 5 3/4. KERX, another favorite of mine. You can see it broke out this week. It's been pushing up a little bit every day. Not huge volume, but good, solid volume and good technicals. The long-term chart pattern shows a move that's going to at least test lateral resistance up around 18.5 next, followed by potentially a move into the low 20s. OMED is edging higher as it took out this little 6-day consolidation. Today it popped $1.73 or almost 5%. Volume was light, but we need to break out to get that going. I got a $48 target, so watch for a retest of the spike high here at 42.5 and then 47.48. OMER flagging above resistance after the breakout last week. Took it across these multiple tops, but we're in a rising channel that could get this to the high teens. Let's call it 18 and then 21. ONTY, nice base, wedge, spike, little mini wedge, and a breakout today of of 9.3% on 1 3/4 million shares. Stepping back a little bit on the weekly chart on this one, you can see a big declining top sign. It comes in and some lateral price resistance in this area. So we'll be watching to see what it does right here, whether it can extend or whether it's going to pull back and consolidate. Now, OXBT may have woken up today. We'll see. I'm not seeing there wasn't a really great close on it. It's still in this sideways consolidation on low volume. So I need a pop, and I need this to get above 655. Worth watching. Secondary resistance 720 is my next target, and it gets through that, it can start to really run. Retrofin RTRX popped 2 days ago and has had a 2-day little stall in here, lower volume, but that's probably because it's up against the upper part of the channel. Should it accelerate, look for 22.23. On a pullback, watch for an entry up on low volume. Techmira, another spike up today to a new high of 24.88, only to pull back a buck and change to still close up $1.52, but it was up 3 at one point. Volume was good. The stock may continue to edge higher. I'm looking for this to make the 28 range and then 30. And lastly is XOMA, which broke out of that beautiful multi-week coil with a pop 2 days ago. It's been following through nicely. And I think we're going to see the stock in the 10.5 range and then 12. That's my targets for these biotech stocks. What a hot group. But pay attention because the leaders in this group and some of the junior biotechs that have outstanding patterns could be in an acceleration or even blow-off mode. So pay close attention to that group. Bye-bye.